You're watching To Marvelous Book, and in this episode, I'm going to talk about programming languages and software technologies explained for managers and business owners. So let me start that I'm a software developer, and my point of view in the explanation may contain some terms or phrases that are not in the vocabulary of a non-tech person. And if you have questions, please ask them. So because we live in an economic world, everything may or must be measured in terms of money. And because in business, time is money, every work or activity also could be measured in time. So I'll point out some intersections of software with time and money, and especially languages and approaches. So if a non-tech person wants some piece of software or a website, there are several options. A person could buy computers, and he will also need UPS systems and other accessories, so the computer is not interrupted by electricity failures, and the user must pay for good high-speed internet, and he must have a technical person to set up the hardware and the software. And if the users become too many, again a technical person must know what to upgrade, and maybe this could be automated with monitoring software, but this requires a big initial investment and time, a little bit of time, but after it, while the users are not too many and while no problems occur, it will have minimal costs like electricity and internet. And the second option is renting a server. To the hardware part, the computer, the electricity and the internet connection problems are delegated to a hosting provider, and some software person still needs to install the software that the owner and the clients of the owner will use. Here the electricity and computer costs are delegated to a third party, but any scale of the internet bandwidth or more computer power will cost a little bit more in the long term, because someone else is taking care of them and is charging you fees in a monthly or yearly basis. But this is the business model of the hosting provider, so you focus more on software and on the business logic. And third option is to use a service. So there are many services that still require specialists to tune up, but there are also services, thanks to the evolution of internet, that could be open and started for business with several clicks, and even by mere mortal that does not understand technology. And here the hardware and the software layer are delegated to another person, but you focus on the business part. In all options, having more hardware or computers may be a solution to serve more clients, and again it will require big investments in the first option or increased monthly or yearly fees in the second or the third option. So this is a thing to know. From a software point of view, if you pay to someone to develop some service, some software for you, you must have in mind that the scale of the number of users that the software will serve. So many softwares must be planned. Their basis must be for having high scalability, and not serve only certain roof of number of users. But this again is when you as a business person have received feedback from the world that certain software will be used. So it makes sense to pay for some specialist to achieve better software, but this is done when you know that the software will be actually used. From a programming language point of view, there are ways to scale better and decrease the hardware requirements, and this is by using better software technology. And the speed of installing and setting up in development with certain technology could be faster in terms of time, but there are also some technical time for in the other options that will make the creation of the software slower. So PHP, Python, JavaScript, Node.js, Ruby. These are technologies that are they may be faster to develop software with them, but the source code of the languages and even the source code of the languages could be copied directly on the computer that will serve clients, and it also could be edited in there, but it is not considered a good practice. In theory, they are faster for development, but slower in execution. But while you still don't have very big number of users, they are good enough. It is no coincidence that WordPress and several other content management systems use PHP, because in content management you publish some content and it is not there is no big communication between the users and the CMS. So when a user opens a page, the communication with the CMS ends. So Facebook even initially started with PHP and migrated to some more improved version of it. So C# and Java and several other intermediate languages, the software coders, developers could still focus on business logic, very much like the first programming languages, but the source code goes through some transformation and it takes a little bit of time and cannot be directly copied on the computer that serve users. This transformation, this time for transforming the source code is returned with faster and better performance of the business logic. It will serve probably more clients and faster. And the third type of languages are C++, Go, Rust, and other low-level code languages. And the coders in these languages must go through every little detail manually. So every little detail that is beneath the business logic, beneath the logic that is closer to the real world, and the code is again transformed. In general, it may take more time writing the same business logic in this low-level language than the other options, but it will be faster and will more likely serve the most number of users. And there is also an option for transforming the previous languages, PHP, Python, Java, to the better third option, but it again takes time to optimize the older languages to the faster third option. So Facebook, for example, try to improve PHP by migrating the source code to C++. So if you hit scale with PHP project and it is not too complex, it could be possible to transform it to C++. The same is true for Python projects. So I'll finish with my 2 cents in business analysis around software application area. Software applications. One should have the same approach around them like the other types of software in business perspective. The internet today has evolved and the web has improved a lot, and it may not be technically optimal, but if you create just a web page, you serve the most number and all clients: TV, computers, tablets, smartphones, smartwatches, and feature phones with internet, but it will be not optimal. The performance will be not perfect. In the middle area are technologies that produce applications from a single source base. These are technologies like Flutter, React Native, and Xamarin and PhoneGap. And these platforms produce native applications for the corresponding app stores, but again, their speed is better than the first option, but is not perfect. And the fastest option is fastest in terms of speed of the software, is to create application for each platform alone with the components provided by these platforms. But this will require probably more technical expertise by several developers, and adapting the software to the stores, and but this will be with the optimal, will create optimal software. But if you know that you have users for them and you have money, it makes the most sense to create native applications, because complexity and optimizations in software is not attached directly to money, which is psychological idea. Many managers, marketers, or product owners go with using services or software platforms or languages that are faster in terms of modification and not in terms of platform, in terms of speed. So it is no coincidence that WordPress that is adaptable and creates stuff ready for business, it is used for PHP because it is fast for modification, because the business value of faster changes is actually bigger than the speed of the source code, the speed of execution of the source code. And this is true because many businesses don't have simultaneous connections, simultaneous users, and PHP is good enough for not too many users. So with the using such technologies like WordPress lifts the requirements to create a business to word processing and covers and design, and to have an idea how to order stuff, and not instead of programming like CSS, JavaScript, and HTML. And actually persuading people to give money or attention to you is somehow trickier for some than making software to work for others. And after someone knows that he could collect money, or if someone has collected enough money, if there is even a need, if there are more users than the software could Third, paying for technical improvement is applicable, meaningful, and savvy with the knowledge of the presence of interest from the world. How often a software will change, and in what direction? If an individual have an idea, he must create a business plan, a strategy to go through all the details to figure out how to what are the input requirements, input costs of a business. So he must know how to price things, so he could have a winning margin. He could have a margin that will actually leave him with some money in the end of the business. So there are a lot of things to consider that are beyond software. There are a lot of factors to take into account that influence the choice of software. So many times it even maybe software may add extra complexity that the time it saves than the time and the money it saves. And there are many times places where software could actually save time in the now and in the future. And being wise and having a holistic approach and not fetish idea towards technology is the best option. And it is an idea to, this is my 2 cents, that a software is a tool and you must know when to use it. And many times being too focused on the technology is a killer, a business killer. So many technologies are used because of speed, and this is probably one of the things to also to consider: speed of development, speed, and how much attention you will get, how much money, and the whole game of business and technology and attention is a lot broader and more complex even than the software itself that actually does what it is programmed to. But the business world is so dynamic that is many times not logical. So these are my broad 2 cents about technology, languages, and speed and money. And I hope this video has some value for you. So this is it for today.